Lorna, I think we should start here. Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. As I told, my name is Varun Patel and I'm the CEO at Spokes Digital. Spokes Digital is the leading provider of digital marketing services to cannabis and CBD clients in USA. And today we are presenting the title Roadmap to SEO Success and Current Updates in SEO for specific to cannabis, hemp, CBD industries. As you all know that we have expertise uh, working in this industry, and we have been hyper focused on cannabis, hemp, CBD industry since last 3 years, and we have been working with a lot of great brands, leading brands in this industry. So, uh, so now me and Lauren Laplante, who is the chief growth officer of the company, will be presenting this topic to you guys today. And now, without further ado, I will turn this over to Lauren. Let's start the presentation. Then I will take over in between.
Thank you, Varun. Thanks everyone for joining. Just as a housekeeping, we'd like to keep your questions in the chat, please. And then at the end of the webinar, we'll leave time to answer those questions. So we've been giving this series, every other week we do a webinar, and this started during the pandemic. So we've been having great success with it, and a lot of people joining. The slides and the recording of the webinar are available on our website. So in a couple of days, you'll see these slides posted. So let me get started with our subject for today around the roadmap of SEO success, specifically for the cannabis and the hemp industry. So I'll go through some introductory slides, and then I'll turn it over to Varun for some specific client examples, which are always very in-depth, which you'll want to listen to. Head Varun. So we always start out our talks with a quote, and here's Matt Cutts. He is the former head of search quality at Google. He says that search engine optimization is like a resume that you polish it so you have your best foot forward. And how I think of search engine optimization is like constantly tending to your garden, where you're weeding it, so that things that you want to grow can grow. But it's definitely something that you have to keep on top of, and it's a constant necessary thing for your website. Search engine optimization is all about visibility, making sure that the right people who want to notice you are seeing you. So if you look at this statistic here, there's kind of 100 users. Who's going to see your website? Who's going to get into it? 93% of your customers won't even go further than your first page. So how do you get them to see your page, get interested in it, and click on your page and get into your website? And here again, if you've come to our webinars before, you know that we like statistics. So we have some search engine optimization statistics here for 2020. The SEO industry is poised to reach $80 billion, and this is incredible. And Google holds almost 75% of the search engine market share. I don't think that's any surprise to folks. Here's another statistic to note: 5.5 billion searches are happening every day on Google. The one at the bottom here that I want to point out is the content creation. Content creation can lead to over 4 times getting users interested in your website, 4 times more than if you don't create content and keep it fresh. Next slide, please. Okay, we mentioned briefly about the market share. Now, this statistic says that Google has almost 92% of the search engine market share. So again, that's no surprise. We do have Bing at way behind there at 2.55. What we found in working with our clients is that the older demographic, some of them are still on Bing, so we do get some, I'll say, low-hanging fruit with some of the older folks who, are tried and true to Bing. Now, here's our agenda for today. I'll talk briefly about getting started with search engine optimization and then talk about some common misunderstandings. And then I'll turn it over to Varun, who will get into the details of keyword ranking factors, some other top SEO trends for 2020, and then some of the other specifics and details, including some of the Google updates. If you're in the thick of search engine optimization, you're aware of those Google updates. There was one that just happened earlier this month, and Varun will discuss that. Okay, so getting started with search engine optimization in the cannabis industry. So basically, this is a very important piece. You want to understand your users. You want to see who your unique users are, what they're looking for on your website, which pages are most popular, and what are the keywords that are attracting your cannabis customers. So that initial research is very important, kind of to lay the foundation of where you need to go for your search engine optimization. Now, where do you find that data? You need to get a Google Analytics account, and the Google Analytics account will actually give you all of that particular data for your website. So Google tracks your traffic, it tracks the users, it tracks the keywords and all of that. So the next slide will show you Google Analytics window. So if you're familiar with Google Analytics at all, this will be familiar to you, as this is the Google Analytics, one of the windows, the screenshots. So initially, this is before you start your search engine optimization. This website, this is a client information here. So we started out 3 months before. This was their organic traffic. So we did a snapshot of this so we know where they stand before we get started with the search engine optimization. So you see they have about 94,000 users and their revenue is just under 400,000. Then we get into the search engine optimization. So what do we do here? We analyze the website based on the data that we found in the Google Analytics, tracking where the users are coming from, what is attracting them, what are they clicking on. So finding out, for example, what are some of the best blog posts that are on your website? What is attracting users to those blog posts? What are some of the keywords there? So really, digging into your website and finding out what are the users actually going there for. So it might be things that you'll identify is the quality of your content, the length of your content. Are they spending time on a blog that's 500 words long, or maybe spending more time on something that's 1,000 words long? So what is attracting those users? So you find out all of these metrics, and then you can, from there, you can make some improvements. For example, okay.
Oh, sorry.
So yeah, no, that's okay. So based on that research, you can make improvements. So here at the bottom, for example, you can put up more content. do you think the users might find helpful? So after 3 months of doing search engine optimization, basically, analyzing the content and focusing on the content that the users are looking for, we've been able to increase the users from 94,000 to 135,000. And more importantly here, the revenue has actually increased something like 12%. So it went from just under 400,000 to almost 460,000. Okay, so here's another important thing around, especially around, we find that with the cannabis users and the CBD product users, they're very high mobile users. So what's important here is to really understand what are they searching on. So looking at the chart on the right, it actually looks like a spider web, and it actually is. Just really understanding how your users come in, where they going to get their information. So they might be attracted by a social media marketing, an ad on Facebook, for example, or maybe they do a paid search on Google and they're attracted by a paid ad, or maybe it's the content that's on your website. That's specifically what they're looking for. So that would be the organic. So here you really have to find, and this is where you also do that research and you'll find the keywords that the users are looking for. So it might be the short tail keywords, and this is where you get all of this data. It tells you, what are the short tail keywords they're looking for, the medium tail keywords, and the long tail keywords. So another thing that I want to say about this is, especially with mobile and the voice, right? Folks might even be driving, right, or walking along, and they say, hey, where can I find this? And they actually do a voice search. So the voice search is typically a longer tail keyword, just because that's how people speak. So it's just really important to have a mix of the short, medium, and long tail keywords, because you don't know if your user is coming from a desktop or mobile. Now we'll get into some common misunderstandings about search engine optimization. Okay. So the first one is not being clear about your value proposition. So, this makes me think of, cannabis, a dispensary where they have a brand, they provide an experience to a customer in terms of going into the store. And now with COVID, what is that online experience? A dispensary that might have delivery or pickup, and also the experience, what is your product? How pure is your product? What differentiates your product? All of these things are important for your value proposition, and they need to be very clear, communicated very clearly to the user on your website. The next misunderstanding or mistake, and this is similar to the first one, but it's focusing specifically on the brand strategy, just being very clear about what your brand strategy is and who are you targeting? Who is your target market? Making sure that your customer, you've defined your customers very well. Where are they located? Especially with cannabis in particular, it's more local than necessarily CBD products. So the localization is very important, making sure that brand strategy is clear, especially at the local level. Okay. The next mistake I'm going to talk about is straying from your bread and butter. Now, what do we mean from that? So it's with with all of the changes in, just life in general, but marketing and being in the cannabis or the CBD industry, there's regulations, right? Those regulations are constantly changing. So you want to make sure that when changes happen, whether they be a regulation or whether it be a market change, that you're still focused on what is the bread and butter of your business. What is really going to, what are the customers really coming to you for? Make sure that you stay focused on that, even with all this other noise that's out there to distract you. The next mistake is not being consistent across channels. So this is really important. I see this time and time again with our clients, and I know Varun is going to talk about this more. Specifically, being consistent on desktop, on your website, as well as on mobile, right? Making sure that the experience that someone has on a desktop is consistent with what they might have on a mobile. So if you look at this chart over here, just shows, this is customers making sure that customers get a consistent answer across all of the contact center channels. So when a bunch of folks were surveyed, only 30% could say that they were consistent across all of their channels, and actually 12% said no. But I'll just say from our experience that we do find that our clients do have very different experience from desktop to mobile, and that's something that we have to help them with early on. Okay, then mistake number 5 is relying too heavily on trends. So this kind of goes along hand in hand with the bread and butter comment, the bread and butter mistake. So making sure that, when a trend comes along, yes, you do want to be aware of it, and maybe you want to follow that trend, but you want to take stock and make sure that you're not straying from your focus as a business, and making sure that, let's say that your differentiator in the market is very high quality organic cannabis, right? That's something that you want to keep and not stray from those trends that might derail you. Now I'm going to turn it over to Varun, who's going to get into some great detail and client examples as well.
Thank you very much, Lauren. So I think now we are going to get into details that what are the factors, various factors that actually impact the keyword rankings. And as Lauren was talking about some of the misunderstandings when we start SEO, and this is very important because as per the search quality evaluator guidelines, Google will only give you priority if you have a very variable content. And I think if we fulfill the purpose of the user search, and then only it will put you first in that way. So you need to just think about what is the purpose of the web page that you want to rank in the SEO. So let's discuss about that in detail in various parameters. So first and foremost, I will say important thing is doing the technical SEO, and that should be done very right, because that is the starting point. Is the I will say basic building block for the SEO. So you need to have a basic like having properly optimized images that should be below 100 kilobyte. The UX of the website should be very easy for the users to interact on the website. We should make sure that our site is crawlable. So we should create a kind of XML sitemap and submit the sitemap to the Google Search Console or Bing Search Console or any search engine you want to work at. And I think schema markup is the most important thing. So we need to create the structured data snippet and we need to just place on the website so that you can get ranked on the snippets and get those schema markups. And Google understands only when you put those schema markups in the right format. And then you need to limit the resources and HTTP requests on the back end so that each time your website loads, it should not call for any kind of input because it slows down the website and output to the user. So this is a bit technical, but I think all these things, if you take care of it, you'll be, I think, ready for the next level of the SEO, that is like becoming more advanced on your SEO activities. So once you do that, focus on optimizing site speed and page load time, because if you are not optimized on that, Google would not put you first. And as per the research, bounce rate increases by 30%, 32% if your load time increases from 1 second to 3 seconds. So I think that is a very important aspect. If you are going more than 3 to 4 seconds on page load time, you will lose more than I will say 1/3 of the customers who come to your website. So you will lose the customers in that way. So basic problem is that how can we solve the load time? I think that is a very basic thing, and you can do. If you have a developer, you can work with them to do that, or maybe you can also optimize the websites using the online methods in that way. So here's a case study for clients. So you can see the desktop and mobile speed. So when we work with any client, we start with that as a step one and see that how is the loading speed. So you can see on the top, our load time for the homepage of the website is like two seconds, and the page sent like 172 requests to the server, and page size was 2.5 MB, and our performance grade is like 68. So this is a speed grade in terms of performance. So our load time is very great. It's just 2 seconds, and I think it gives us opportunity to convert more customers who are landing to our website. On mobile, if you see that, you will see that our load time is just 1.37 seconds, and I think that is a very good I think time in terms of mobile devices. So this gives a very good opportunity for us to capture all those users and convert them very fast. The next point we are talking about is the mobile optimization. So I think Google has changed its algorithm in 2019. You can see on the right side there's a screenshot, and it says that like the majority of Google crawls requests to your site will be made using a mobile crawler. So say more than 70% will say traffic nowadays is coming from mobile devices, and almost everybody, especially in the cannabis industry, people are searching for products, people are searching for offers and looking for the products in their mobile because they want to consume the information very fast, and they're very quick in making decisions. So having mobile optimized website is the foremost thing, and I think Google also gives priority to all the results who have the mobile optimized websites, and Google crawler gives put them on top if you are mobile optimized. So that is very, I think, important to capture all the mobile searches happening and get all those customers. And you can see from this case study shows that how mobile is topping the charts in terms of traffic and also the revenue. So this is the statics for one of the client we are working with for last 3 months. And you can see like almost 19,000 users have visited the website using mobile versus desktop users who are just 9,600 users, who are just 33% of total number of users. So mobile captures almost 65 to 66% of the traffic, and you can see the revenue wise. Revenue wise also is almost like 80% of the 80% of the revenue. So 65% of traffic and 80% of the revenue generated is by the mobile devices, and conversion rate is like 8.95% if you look at on the right side of that. So you can see overall mobile is given a top priority by the customers, and also by the and we have worked with our client to fix the SEO, and we have improved their overall mobile optimization and the revenue using that method. The next thing is social media. So social media is playing a very important part because if you look at the web, that has been evolving from web 2.0 to web 3.0 to web 4.0. So if you look at the web 3.0 and web 4.0, basically social media plays very important role in that. Web 3.0 is basically social media sharings and social media interactions and engagement. So you can see like one of the client who we are working with is a very popular client in terms of delivering cannabis to their clients. So they have a very popular content that is being published. It's very educational content that is very helpful for the users and to know more about like cannabis products, difference between THC, CBD, CBG, and there's a lot of searches that are happening on that subject. So we thought to do the SEO on that, and then we have also shared the images, like these website links on the social media channels, including Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And we have seen a huge kind of a progress in terms of traffic that has been contributed by these social channels. So if you look at this slide, this is the case study where we can see social networks who are actually they are just giving, they're just assisting the whole traffic of organic to the channels and to the channels in a very great way. So you can look at, for example, on uh, the point three, where social network giving search like organic search. So a user first is going to the social network, then he's clicking on the website, and then he's visiting the website, finding the website by organic search. So you can see that there's a lot of people who are coming from organic search who have been assisted by social networking platforms, and this is giving the boost, and this is also in the sales. So if you look at the point number three, there's sales of $1,000. So people came from Facebook, they found the client on the Google, and they made a purchase. Similarly, you can see on other assisted conversions as well. So number five is the blogging. So as I talked about, like the blogging, importance of blogging is very important because of the reason that you need to just look at three most important factors when you talk about the Google. That is authority, relevance, and trust. So when Google sees that your content is actually, is very relevant for the users, and it is actually having a purpose to educate customers on what they're looking for, and then they will always put you on number one spot. And blog is the only way you can actually create different kind of content. One would be educational, another would be, for example, helping customers to maybe just know a difference about the products they want to know, and third would be like you are suggesting something as an expert. So we had to see that what are the different factors, and and how can you actually tweak your content so that customers can discover your website, and you can write the content based on that. So you need to just analyze that how what is the historical traffic sources, which are the pages that are more important for the customers, and create the content based on those users and their search intents, and then probably you can post the blogs regularly, and it will help you to improve your rankings. So you can see this screenshot from one of our client. So you can see that how Google organic traffic. You can see the first sources like blog. So you can see different blogs are being given different importance in the top 10, and they have huge traffic. And this is just the monthly data. So almost 1,500 users have found the blog page of the website for one of our client, and they have also gone to other pages from the blog pages to make a purchase. And that's very important page, and that given the good SEO presence for our client. So we'll talk about a top SEO trends now in 2020, because everything has changed. If you guys have been tracking the Google algorithms and Google updates, they have been so many changes, so many updates coming up from Google. So we'll talk about those SEO trends in 2020. So please let us know if you have any questions in between, so that we can just talk about that also. It's not a one-way discussion. We cannot always make it like a two-way.
Varun, there is a couple of questions in the chat. about mobile.
Okay, so I think John is asking, do we need to convert full website into mobile first design, or we just need to optimize for mobile devices? How do we improve mobile site speed? So John, it's a very good question. So I think when we are working on the website, uh, there is an option where you can adopt for the mobile first design, and there's something called as AMP pages that are accelerated mobile pages. So whenever you're creating a website, there's something called as AMP script that you need to place on your all the web pages, so that your pages are maybe optimized for the mobile first design. And in case you don't have a mobile first design website, and it was created long back, then you always have an option to create the responsiveness of these websites, and there's a very easy code to make the responsive version of the website, and then you can also do that. There's a second, I will say, a second step, and you can improve the mobile speed always by optimizing. I think we talked about that, like for example, reducing the size of the images, or maybe reducing the number of requests that you are sending, HTTP requests and server requests. You can also see that how various scripts are not placed on the website. For example, you should not have multiple XML scripts on the website and all that. So there are a lot of factors that can be optimized to improve the mobile speed. In case you have your website, please reach out to us and we can give you a consultation on how can you improve it, and we can help you on that as well. So please reach out to us without any hesitation. So yes, let's go to the another point that is very important point is like how SEO is going to change in 2020, and how it is important for all of us to actually align ourselves as per those changes. So first point is domain authority 2.0. I think everybody knows domain authority and page authority. That is, I think, is like known as the, I will say, it's like EAT methodology. If you know expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. So, as I was talking about, like search quality evaluator guidelines. So, I think none of us have any idea about Google algorithm, because it's like a kind of a very gray area. But the search quality evaluator guidelines have some clues, and as per that clue, the three basic things that are required for any ranking of any website is like, one is beneficial purpose of the website, another is the EAT methodology, that is expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness, and another is like YMYL, that is your money, your life. So your website should categorize on these three uh, categories, and so EAT methodology. So if you look at Google, also evaluates your site based on EAT. So when some users making search, and they are finding out some kind of a website, then Google sees that, okay, before showing any result to the user, they will look at the web page and the content, and will talk about how much expertise it is showing in the subject that is being searched by the user in the search query, how much authority does that content has, and how much trustworthy that content is. So all these three factors will be looked by the Google, and then they will place that content on top of the search engine results, and it will also give a huge domain authority to your website and page authority to your website. So this is a very important factor that I think we should always see when we're working with our clients. The domain authority should increase, and the content that we have should always be. We will talk more about the EAT and YMY in the next slides. That how important it is for ourselves. Second is the rise of the visual search. I think now we have seen that in 2020, you can look at the right side. We have made some research and saw that 62% of the young consumers want more visual search capabilities. 18 20 and 21 to 34, you can see they're also like 61.7%, like older millennials, they want to see results with the visual appeal. So visual SEO, I think, is something that is going to take off in 2020, because people want to search with the images, and that should be done. Your all images should be all tagged. Putting more images, light images, is very important. So you can see from this slide, that is on the right side, you can see like 36% of American consumers have already used visual search. Google Lens has already been used for 1 billion times, and Pinterest gets 600 million visual searches per month. So you can see the importance of visual search by the consumers. I think that is very important. So having the images on the website, having proper alt tags of all those images, having light images on the website, that is very important for Google to place your results on the image search, on the visual search. Third is the video content to search. So video is a very important factor. So again, you can see on the right side, the bounce rate and the percentage of bounce rate in terms of with video or without video content. So with video, the bounce rate is like less than 80%, but without video, it goes more than 80%. You can see from the Cisco. This is by Cisco. Online video will make up 80% of the online traffic by 2021, and you can see that YouTube is already a world's second largest search engine after Google, because video content plays very important role for all the users. So if you have good video content and you are putting good video featured snippets, because I think once you search for any videos, there will be snippets that will be coming up. So if you want yourself to be appearing on the snippets, you should make proper titles, descriptions, and put a lot of keywords on those video optimizations to make sure that your videos are ranking and having proper tags, meta tags to get appear on the featured snippets. And if you have the blog pages, it will be good idea to embed the video on your blog posts, so that your blog posts can get the boost and your videos can also be used while users visit your blog post. So that is a good way to improve your, I will say, bounce rate on the website. So we have done the same thing for one of the client, MedMen, we were working with in earlier. So you can see that we launched a video that the new normal. So the new normal, the concept behind the video was that using cannabis is a new normal, and we wanted to educate our customers, because this is not, I think, a bad idea or bad habit to smoke or to use cannabis. It's like a new normal, and we showed that kind of a thought process via video, and it was received very well by the consumers, and they saw a huge spike and a less bounce rate on the traffic that were coming to the website. Fourth is a voice search optimization. So let me see if there are any questions so that we can also go through that.
Yeah, there's a question on the voice.
Oh yeah, so there's one question: what kind of keywords are we have to select to start the SEO? Okay, David. So this is a mix of. I think Lauren was talking about this, having a mix of short tail, medium tail, and long tail keywords, and having, like, you have text based search and voice based search. And if you have more, if you're a dispensary where you search, you're driving and they want to search for a dispensary near me, so maybe it's, of course, like having a long tail keywords and coming up first on the voice search is very important. So I think you have to see, we have to work with you in order to understand kind of business, but you need all mix of the keywords on your website. Then Maria is, what are the factors which help in improving domain authority? So I think we talked about the EAT methodology, that is like having, like, you whenever you are posting any content on the website, you should post either as an expert or as an authority on the space, and this content should be trustworthy. So when you have all those factors on the website, you'll begin more domain authority by Google, and that is something will help you to improve SEO as well. John, how to optimize website for voice search? So voice search we are just talking about in the point 4. So let's talk about that. So voice search is basically is like based on the FAQ. So I will talk about that in this point, that you'll understand that in a better way. So voice search, as John is asking, is very important nowadays in 2020, and you can see uh, like where, so that this graph shows that position in the Google search results, and and where the voice search tend to rank. in desktop search. So you can see 38.29% like people who are ranking on the Google search, they had voice search as a, I will say, optimized for their website. So we can say 14% of the adults perform at least one voice search every day as per the data, and voice searches have been up by 35% since 2008, and 25% of all searches on mobile are voice searches, and 20%. So you can see how can we improve ourselves on the SEO, and we are actually working with some of the clients to optimize this content. You can see this here. So the majority of our searches are question based. For example, you can say like, how do I pull up? How do I do a pull up? Or for the who starred in Shashank Redemption? Or how does hemp oil help you soothe pain? Or where is there a dispensary near me if you're driving? So these searches are based on the questions. So the best thing is to include, I will say, our FAQ section on the website. So you should always include a question and answer in your content. And when you are doing that, Google will automatically fetch the answer of the question that is being asked by any kind of a user. So there's an example like how if somebody is asking how do weather satellite work. So Google Voice is actually fetching the results from weatherquestions.com, and it is telling that how do weather satellites work. So this is the answer they are pulling from one of the websites. So we need to actually we have to optimize our websites by putting the FAQ section and having the questions and answers that Google can identify and maybe uh, read it out to the customers. Now, so this is something you can optimize, John. So maybe you can include FAQ section on your website, and think of the possible questions asked by the consumers, and that they can ask for your business, and maybe put the answers for those questions, and probably you will rank on those voice searches. The fifth point is optimize for the feature snippets. So feature snippets is a very important part of any kind of SEO activity. And one interesting thing is about feature snippet is about that uh, you can only rank on feature snippets if you are ranking on top 10 already. So that is something is very interesting. So you have to first rank on the SEO on top 10, then you have to compete for the featured snippet in that way. So that is very interesting thing, and it gives you a lot of space on the web page that you can be covering with the featured snippet. So you can optimize for the feature snippets by finding feature snippet opportunities. How can you find it? So you can go to the Ahref. So you can see this Ahref gives you a keyword report, and it will show you the keywords that you can rank for, and that also have a featured snippet. So this is something you can do by using Ahref to see. And you can also include a snippet bait to your page to be shown on the featured snippets. And you should format your content for other types of featured snippets uh, that are like table snippets or text snippets. And we can talk about that in the next slide. That is, so how to add snippet bait to your web page. So you can see snippet bait is a 40 to 60 word block of content designed to rank in the featured snippet spot. So you can see here on this right side. So you can see this content basically is not visible to you guys, but if somebody is searching for a content, it's showing on the top like this. It's 43 word long, and this is about the Salesforce. So this is something you can see here, like Salesforce ranks fourth on this keyword search, but they have only featured snippet because of the reason that they are like 43 words long, and they have been on the first page for long on in that way. So this is as per the research. SEMrush has done this analysis that your snippets should be 40 to 60 words long, and should be ranking on the first page to earn that spot. So we can look into that as well. Then we can see there are other snippets called as paragraph snippets. So paragraph snippets are like 81.9% of the featured snippets. They can only be achieved if you have placed right H2 and H3 subheaders for every item on the list. So this is very I think a very easy part of it. You go to the website, open up your backend and see h1 h2 and h3 headers, and give right kind of descriptions to the h1 h2 and h3 tags on the web page. And once you can check it out and we can give that headers, and you rank on the first page, you will have a probability of earning maybe feature snippet for your web page, and Google will fetch that content from your web page. Next is master search intent. So this is also very important part of it, because Google gets better at giving people what they're looking for, if it's like a one-to-one search. So what do you mean by this? Like uh, search intent should match what they're looking for, should be provided by what is there on the website. It should be like it should be apple to apple kind of a comparison on what a user is searching and what is being shown by the Google on the search engine results. So this should master that search intent, and write the content that is having intent based content on the website, and each page should have an objective and should have a purpose to fulfill that intent. So the first step to do that is like identifying the keyword intent, and that is something is first priority. And then second is to create the content that is having the one-to-one search intent match. And third is maybe if you have old content, you can re-optimize it or rewrite it to improve the search intent. So you can see that how can we improve the search intent. First of all, you understand the keyword intent that is happening on the website, and you should need to see which other kind of keywords are there. So if you can see, for example, somebody is searching for buy CBD oil products. So if you look on the right side, we see the results like Pure Kana, and then again the next is by Pure Kana. So somebody wants to buy the CBD oil products. So Google will look for the websites who have the content that is actually showing the right kind of a match, and it's a one-to-one match. So so this is something that you need to understand and write the same kind of keyword and content on the website. And if it matches the intent of the consumers, it will be shown on the first page. So this is the like virtual search intent match, where you can see exactly, for example, somebody is searching how many CBD doses should one should take in a day. So you can see the healthline.com has article that talks about CBD doses, how much should you take, and you can see the search intent on the keyword is same as whatever is shown on the search results. So this is the one-to-one search intent match, and Google is finding that. The next article also talks about dosing CBD, and then the third one on the rank is also talk about the CBD doses. So there's a one-to-one search intent match. That's why you see top three search results, and the content should be written in having the same objective in mind. That how are you fulfilling the intent of the customers in that way. The next important thing is combating decreasing CTRs, because we have seen that the organic traffic has very low click-through rate, and a lot of customers actually they find you, they look at you, but they don't click on the content. So how can we increase the click-through rate? And as per the research, we have seen that organic CTR on mobile search is down 41.4% since 2015, and is it is because of the reason that Google is also actually placing so many search results like answer boxes, ads, paid ads, like top four positions are paid ads, then carousels, and also like people ask questions. So there are sections, a lot of sections like that, and then you have the SERPs. So SERPs go on down of the page. So there's a less CTR on that. So how can we combat that kind of a problem? So one is like including your keyword in the URL is very important, so that you are visible on the first page, and your keyword is shown on the URL itself. And you should also look at the like emotions when you are talking about the keyword search, and then you are including that on your website, and then writing meta descriptions for every page, so that you also mention the right right kind of a description for that page. So let's look at that in the next slide. So this is very important. So if you look at the right side, it says the CTR and position, and then we have keyword rich URLs. So you can see our CTR. So if you have the keyword rich URLs, if you have keywords in the URL, for example, you have a keyword health.com, and you also have health.com slash, if you have a CBD doses as a blog, you can have a keyword on the URL as CBD doses. So that is something like having keyword on the URL. And you can see that the URLs that has a keyword, they have higher CTR and higher positions than the keywords that had like that had no keyword on the URL. So you can see that from the graph also. And so I think it's very important. And keyword rich URLs get 45% more clicks. So I think it's very wise to do that in that way. Next is writing meta descriptions for every page. So if you write the meta tags and the if the original, then I think users will compel to click on your site for search results, and you can improve your CTRs by 6%. So you can see on the right side, like websites with the meta descriptions and website without meta descriptions, and we can also see the CTR in that way. So websites with meta descriptions had 35% more CTR than the websites who did not have the meta descriptions. So that is very important for the SEO. Using emotions is very important on your I think content, and that is something you can see here. And like 40% CTR is for content that has sentiment. And we can also see having power words, and with having not having power words in the title tags. That is how different is the CTR for all of them. So that is also I think we should see that we should not use more words on the titles. We should use more descriptive titles that can define your business and the intent of the customer on the page. Backlinks are still the key. So that is also important. I think we all know that um, Google is updating its algorithm, but backlinks still make a lot of sense. You can see from the research, I think by the Perficient Digital, and we can see that still backlinks are making a lot of sense for all the SEO success. So that is also very important for your off-page activities to get the backlinks. So next is EAT, YMYL, and beneficial purpose. So when we are talking about this methodology as a search quality evaluator guidelines, you can read that probably on your web. So beneficial purpose, when Google actually is finalizing the search results, they look at which pages are beneficial for the customers and who have the information that can benefit the customers. They will rank it first, and then they see that okay, now I will look at the content that is having some kind of high quality content in terms of expertise, in terms of authority, and in terms of trustworthiness. And then next is your money or your life. So this kind of content is like, for example, do or die content. For example, somebody giving you financial advice to invest on some stocks, or maybe a medical practitioner giving you some advice on eating some medicines. So that is kind of a content is called as YMYL. And EAT is a content that is like coming from experts or trust or authority kind of people. For example, someone giving you weather report, or somebody is telling you like eating right food or giving advice on yoga kind of thing. So when Google ranks the pages, they always look at like your content quality, and they categorize it as per the kind of content. It is YMYL, or it is EAT, or it is just for beneficial purposes, and then they put your URLs on the search engine results. So you need to see that how can you actually bucket your content based on these guidelines of the customers, and Google will look at your web pages to rank them. So this is the last slide that talks about the Google core updates that are happening very fast. This is very important to keep a tab on those updates, because they will tell you what is changing on the SEO side? What Google is changing, and in case you're making some changes, how your business is going to get impacted by those changes. You should always be updated about that, because digital business needs to be updated with latest Google updates. So the last update we saw was on the August 1st, 2020. That was like variety of factors have been changed by Google to determine the search results, and they are only giving priority to the results that are helpful to the users, and they're using latent semantic indexing. That is again is based on the keyword intent of the user. So if your search intent is matching with the results, they will show it first, and they'll penalize all other content, all other spam content in that. So there are a lot of series of updates that are happening. So please keep an eye on that, so that you can always do the best for your business. So this is Q&A. If you have any questions, then we can go through it.
Yeah, there's a few more questions here. So the next one is from David. How much lengthy content should we add in a blog post to rank?
Yeah. So David, that is, you should have minimum 500 words in your content, but 1,000 words is the maximum. So I think on a safe side, you should always have at least 800 words of content on the blog pages.
Mhm. And I'll just add, it's really important to pepper your top keywords within your blog.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the next is like Ali is asking how to re-optimize old content. So Ali, that is a good question. So as I talked about, new Google updates are focusing on giving priority to the content that is actually matching with the search intent of the customer. So you should go back and use that old blog pages, and maybe remodify that blog page, and maybe put more keywords that are maybe long tail keywords that can be used probably in the voice search, or maybe that can be used probably in the maybe search engine results, and maybe you should insert those keywords that are matching the search intent of the customers. So I think you should rewrite that content so that it can be useful as per the current Google algorithm updates.
And then also for Ali, what you had mentioned before, Varun, in that one slide with the keywords, making sure that the keywords are in the URL as well as the meta tags. Those are very important because that's what Google looks at behind the scenes. So
Yeah,
that will help too.
absolutely. So I think there are no further questions. So I think you guys can reach out to us anytime on LinkedIn, or you can also email us. You can also reach to our website, and there's a section called as free consultation. You can utilize that also, and we can engage on any kind of discussion that may help you to improve your SEO strategy, and there is a free consultation part. So that is something I think is good, and is no charge. So we will all help you to set up the SEO as much as we can, and help you to improve your business.
So John, the slides will be available probably another couple of days, and the webinar as well. And you just look in our website under webinars and events. If you're still there, I can post a link in the chat.
Yeah, that'll be good if you can do it, Lauren.
Yeah, I'll do it now.
There's a question, I think again. Okay, there's a question by John about the presentation, and then Brian is also asking about the presentation. Okay. So John and Brian, we will send that maybe to you guys over the email as well. And as Lauren said, you can also get it from our website.
Okay, here it is.
Oh yeah, thank you, Lauren.
John's got another question.
Yeah, how many days it will take to rank for voice search? Uh, John, again, I think SEO is a long-term strategy. So it will take uh, at least 2 to 3 months to rank on these searches. So you should start as a first step. Include the FAQ section on the website. Start thinking about all possible questions that can be maybe thought by the users, and then probably put the answers on those sections, and then start optimizing, probably using all other methods we talked about, writing right meta tags, optimizing your images, putting the URL keyword on the URLs, having H1 H2 H3 tags, and when you do all these things right, I think Google will start to fetch your content, if that is a useful content in terms of fulfilling the search intent of the users. Then John is asking, do I need to do any coding changes on the site? So coding changes are not required. I think this is about how can you actually improve the backend. And so if you want to do basic SEO, just change your meta title, meta description, H1, H2, H3 tags. This is something I think can be done on an existing website. If you can't actually rewrite the code, and maybe put the right keywords, write the right content, and do the SEO. So that will help you initially.
Well, thank you everyone for attending, and anyone who's participating by the recording, thank you as well.
Yeah, thank you everybody for attending, and so I think so. Yeah, this presentation is available to you all, and you can reach out to us. We can talk more offline. Thank you, everyone. Have a good